Woo! Hello people from all around the planet. It's Ellie and it's the summertime and it's really warm. We're having a heat wave in France and I have decided to share with you my summer book recommendations. I never thought, even a year and a half ago, that one day this person here would share with you book recommendations. You know why? Because I always hated reading. Without being too boring, because obviously you're here for book recommendations, I want to share this because I think it's funny. I only liked reading magazines for a long time because the only books that I read in my life were books I was forced to read for college or for high school, and it just disgusted me, you know? When you have to read something you're not interested in. And then when I was at the end of college, I started reading things because I wanted to know more about a topic, but it was always intellectual. So a year and a half ago, or about a year ago, the first time I went to a bookstore, I think it was La Fnac in France, with the purpose of choosing a book that I will truly enjoy without the goal of looking more intelligent towards the society or reading something about psychology, which I love, or anything. I would just pick a random romantic book to feel good without having anything else in mind than feeling good while reading it. It just changed something in my reading. Not ability, but in my reading passion, or, you know, it just changed. And today I have a few amazing summer reads that I think you will enjoy. It's a lot of romantic books, and I have one thriller. It's actually the first thriller I read in my entire life, and it was a recommendation that Brooke Michio did on her YouTube channel. So I have 7 books, but in my hand I only have 6 books because one of them I lended it to a friend. And we'll start with a series of books which I have discussed a little bit in my previous video, which was my night routine. It's by Anna Huang and it's from the Twisted series. So she has 4 books in her Twisted series, and I have read 3 out of the 4. I skipped the 3rd book in the series because I was not really interested by the character and by the story, but I have read the 3 from her series and it's amazing. Twisted Love book is about Alex Volkov is a devil blessed with the face of an angel and cursed with a past he can't escape. Driven by a tragedy that has haunted him for most of his life, his ruthless pursuits for success and vengeance leave a little room for matters of the heart. But when he's forced to look after his best friend's sister, he starts to feel something in his chest, a crack, a melt, a fire that could end his world as he knew it. On the other side, Ava Chen is a free spirit trapped by nightmares of a childhood she can't remember. But despite her broken past, she's never stopped seeing the beauty in the world, including the heart beneath the icy exterior of a man she shouldn't want. This book is amazing. It's shorter compared to the other books from the series, so if you're not really sure, even though you can read all of the books in another order, you could start with the first one because it's very easy to read and I loved it. Then I have read the second one, which I lent it to a friend, so I'm going to look online. Yeah, it was Twisted Game, and Twisted Game is about stoic, broody, and arrogant elite bodyguard Riss Larson has 2 rules. First one, protect his clients at all costs. Second, do not become emotionally involved, ever. He has never once been trapped to break those rules, until her, Bridget, a princess with a stubborn streak that matches his own and a hidden fire that reduces his rules to ash. She's nothing he expects and everything he never knew he needed. Day by day, inch by inch, she breaks down his defenses until he's faced with the truth he can no longer deny. He swore an oath to protect her, but all he wants is to ruin her, because she is his princess, his forbidden fruit, blah blah blah. This one was really cool as well. My favorite from the Twisted series is the last one, and I'm going to read it to you. The summary. Twisted lies. Charming, deadly, and smart enough to hide it, Christian Harper is a monster dressed in the perfectly tailored suit of a gentleman. He has little use for morals and even less use for law, but he can't deny the strange pull he feels towards the woman living just one floor below him. She is the object of his darkest desires, the only puzzle he can't solve. And when the opportunity to get closer to her arises, he breaks his own rules to offer her a deal she can't refuse. Every monster has their weakness. She is his obsession, his addiction, his only exception. This one, oh my god, I think I have read it in like a weekend, which for me is a record because I'm not a very fast reader. Highly recommend. The Twisted series is the first series I have read in my life, I believe. Oh no, the first series in my life I have read is Summer I Turned Pretty, but that was ages ago when I was a teenager. And this one is the first series I have read since I'm officially an adult. So that shows you how much I love those books. Then the thriller that Brooke Mitchell recommended, it's called The Last Mrs. Parrish. I read it within a month, so I read it every morning, maybe a few pages here and there. It was really cool. How far would you go to make all of your dreams come true? Amber Patterson is tired of being a nobody, an invisible woman who melts into the ground. She deserves more. She deserves a life of wealth, luxury, and leisure. Daphne Parrish is the golden girl of Bishop's Harbor, Connecticut. With her model looks, her picture-perfect mansion, and her millionaire husband, Jackson, she has everything Amber wants. Amber's envy could eat her alive if she didn't have a plan. Before long, she has become Daphne's closest friend and is catching the eye of Jackson. But a skeleton from her past could destroy everything, and if discovered, Amber's well-laid plan may end in disaster. The plot was amazing. The characters were also really, really well described in the book, and the last pages were like, I didn't understand how it ended. It was just crazy. How to explain it? You know, when you watch a movie, you have an idea of how it will end, and usually it does. But this one, it was just like, I was in awe. The last pages, I was like, what the hell just happened? I haven't seen it arrive. So this one, highly recommend. Now, this book, which is It Starts With Us by Colleen Hoover. It's the second book of the sequel, and I was so excited when it finally arrived in France because it was sold out everywhere. I really wanted to read it in English, and they only had it in French, so I waited a few months to receive it in English. So this one is about Lily and Atlas. You have to read the first one to understand the story, but it's just amazing. Start with the first one, which is It Ends With Us, and then read this one, and you let me know if you like them. I'm sure you will. Lily and Riley have just settled into a civil co-parenting rhythm with their daughter Emerson, when Lily suddenly runs into Atlas nearly 2 years after they last spoke. Elated that the timing finally seems to be right to give what they have together a real chance, Atlas asks Lily on a date. But Lily's excitement is almost immediately replaced by dread and anxiety when Lily remembers that Riley, though no longer her husband, is still very much part of her life. And though Riley would dislike Lily dating anyone but him, Atlas Corrigan is the one man he absolutely will not stand having in his ex-wife and daughter's lives. Told from the perspective of Lily and Atlas, It Starts With Us gives readers a deeper look into Atlas's past, and he and Lily reconnect and rekindle the love they shared as teenagers while navigating a volatile ex-husband who believes Atlas to be the one reason why their marriage ended. It's just an amazing book. I cried a little bit when I read it. I laughed a little bit, but I mostly cried, and I was also mostly anxious to see if they will end up together or not. Recommend it. I loved it. Now, another one is called The American Roommate Experiment by Elena Armas. This one is an easy read. It's not as intense as It Starts With Us or the Twisted series. You will still laugh a little bit. There's a little bit of romance. It's also really good. Sometimes love just needs a little inspiration. Rosie Graham has a problem, a few actually. First, she quit her well-paid job to focus on her secret career as a romance writer, only to enter a creative slump. Then the ceiling of her New York apartment falls in. To make matters worse, when she heads to her best friend's apartment, she finds that Lena has already lent the studio to her cousin Lucas, who Rosie has been, for lack of a better word, stalking on Instagram. When Lucas suggests that they will share the small space, Rosie discovers that he strolls around the place in a towel, has a distracting grin, and cooks meals that are just as tempting. Then he learns about Rosie's writer's block and proposes an outrageous idea. He will take her on a series of experimental dates to reignite her literary muse. And the last book is the one I just finished, is called in English One Summer in Santorini by Sandy Barker. I read this one in Slovak because my first language is French, then my second language is Slovak, and then my last language I learned by myself is English. Amazing book. I will read it to you real quick in English. Sarah had enough of men. It's time to rekindle with her true first love, travel. So she books a sailing trip around the Greek islands with a group of strangers. The very last thing Sarah wants is to meet someone new. But then a gorgeous American man boards on the yacht, I don't know how you say it. And when she also encounters a handsome silver fox who promises the world to her, she realizes that trouble really does come in twos. Will Sarah dive into a holiday fling or stick to her plan to steer clear of man, continue her love affair with Feta, and find her own way after all? Such a good summer book. Now, if I had to pick one book that you should read first, so if you prefer romance over thriller, I would that's so hard. I would go for this one. It's such an easy read. If tomorrow you're going on vacation and right now you have an hour to go to the library, pick this one up. Amazing, easy read, everything is good about it. If you have the time for a series, well, you should start the Twisted series. If you're not really into romance, you prefer thriller, I unfortunately only have one, but it's an amazing one, so obviously The Last Mrs. Parrish. And if you have read one of Colin Hoover's books, you should, I think, try the first book of the sequel, It Ends With Us, and then do this one. For this one, I liked it, but I wouldn't rate it as high as the other books, for the simple reason that it's not that the book was not good, because I really appreciated it, I read it really fast. It's just that it seems that a lot of books have the same topic and the same situations, especially when they're based in New York. I don't know why. So I thought it was more of a already heard of story. That's the only thing I have to say about the book. But I enjoyed it, that's why I put it on this video. Now I will sip on my little coffee and I will enjoy some more reading. I'm starting officially my first Ellen Hilderbrand book, The 5-Star, I think it's called The 5-Star Hotel or something like that. I'll let you know how I like it. Now, if you have any amazing book recommendations, please put them down. Now I just love reading so much that I can't get enough. So if you have good romantic books, not really thrillers, I love this one, but I think it's not too much of my vibe. More romantic books, please let me know, especially if the characters are more than 24, 25 years old, because I can't really picture myself when the main characters are really young, because I'm 25, so going down like reading teenager books is not really my thing, but more of a young adult or adult romantic books, that'll be amazing. I hope you enjoyed it, and please let me know if you read any of those, and I wish you a beautiful summer, people. Salut!